You know, unlike maybe 100 years ago, today people are beginning to value the indigenous and to hold it as important that their ways be respected, that their territory be protected. LaCiel, the reason that I feel such an affinity with LaCiel is because they're really taking that impulse another step farther, which is going beyond just, well, you know, we should protect them and respect their culture, but to actually look at their cultures and say, maybe they have something to teach us. Why would we start to think that? Maybe some of you share my view that our civilization has reached something of an impasse, that we are stuck in patterns of solution that are actually part of the problem, that the promise of technology and science that we could call the ascent of humanity has reached an impasse, and that the glorious future that had been promised to us and that everybody believed in without question in, say, the 1950s or the 1960s, this robotified paradise where all disease has been conquered and all social problems have been engineered out of existence using the same methods and mindsets that material technology was so successful at. We're starting, I lost the beginning of that sentence, but just to say that it doesn't seem to be happening. That future seems to be running behind schedule. And in the meanwhile, environmental, the ecological crisis and a variety of social crises are rising, and we seem helpless to do anything about it, even if we theoretically have the solutions. Politically, we're not implementing those solutions. And so many of us feel kind of stuck and even hopeless. And that hopelessness invades many people's personal lives. I mean, we're supposed to be happier and happier every generation, but we see a rising tide of depression, anxiety, addiction, suicide. And it's hard to say that, yeah, we've got this. We know how to be human, and we're going to go around the world and teach everybody how to do it. We're starting to question that. And I'm not saying that civilization has been without value and technology and science should be discarded. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that many of us are realizing we need something from the outside to move beyond this stuck place. So a natural result of the humiliation of reaching for this goal and never getting there is to say, maybe you know something. And I think that a lot of the attraction to indigenous ways is coming from this sense of futility. Not just to culturally appropriate their ways, but to actually respect them. So LaCiel has maybe some of you have seen the incredible, arresting film, The 12, about 12 indigenous elders that the core team traveled around the world to assemble. I became familiar with LaCiel because I went to a symposium that they held in Barcelona, where they gathered 144 people to address the world's problems with the input and the information that the indigenous elders had conveyed to them, in a sense being held by them, in order to embark on a deeper questioning that questions the solutions and even questions the questions. Do we even know the right questions to ask? Are our methods of quantification and control sufficient to the task at hand? Do we really understand how this world works? Is the modern account of causality even accurate? These are some of the questions that are opened up when people have direct experiences with indigenous people and realize that they have a source of knowledge that is unfamiliar to those of us who are ensconced in a modern milieu. So, yeah, that's where my affinity for Lassalle comes. And you know, walking this path, like originally I was like a little bit nervous because I'm like, wow, there's a lot of really mainstream people here, and usually I'm speaking at the permaculture convergence, and the science and non-duality conference and things like that. But I think that this intuition is reaching more and more people. And many of us harbor what can be a very lonely feeling. This feeling that maybe it's not that civilization is completely wrong, but that there's something that's supposed to happen that isn't happening. That the world can be much more beautiful than what has been offered to us as normal. This secret knowledge needs nurturance. So I've certainly benefited from these moments where I thought maybe I'm just crazy for believing these things. Somebody comes and validates it. And that's a gift that I try to pass on in my support for Lassalle. And this is maybe something that those of you who also harbor this secret protest or this secret knowledge that a more beautiful world is possible can also extend to Lassalle, because it's not, even if it's a financial donation or financial support, it operates on multiple levels. Yeah, it helps them run their programs, make films, work with indigenous people, protect their territory, but it also is a message that you're not crazy. It says, I believe in what you're doing. I hold this vision too. I resonate with it. And as social beings, we need to know that we're not crazy. In fact, crazy almost is defined by holding a reality that is different from everyone around you. So this gathering, in part, is to come together at the edge of a different reality, or in an exploration of something beyond what our culture has normalized. So I'd like to turn it over to two of the Lassalle patrons, Scott and David. Would you guys like to?
Sure, thank you.
Bravo!
Thank you.